consecrate ourselves to Our Lady. But see, she helps us deal with the difficulties that we're living with in the church. So she says here, March 25th, 1984, these are the Blessed Mother's words in this book. These are her words. Before all the consecration, I ask of it of Pope John Paul II, the first of my beloved sons, who on the occasion of this feast performed the consecration in a solemn manner after writing to the bishops of the world and inviting them to do so in union with him, which was Blessed Mother's request at Fatima in 1917. Then she says, unfortunately, the invitation was not welcomed by all the bishops. Particular circumstances have not yet permitted the explicit consecration of Russia, which I have requested many times. As I have already told you, this consecration will be made to me when the bloody events are well on the way to actuality. Then she says, I bless this courageous act of my Pope and his wish to entrust the world and all the nations to my Immaculate Heart. I receive it with love and gratitude. So she received his effort. And because of it, I promise to intervene to shorten greatly the hours of the purification and to lessen the gravity of the trial. Okay, so what do? Blessed Mother in this movement shows us where the protection is, and the protection is in her Immaculate Heart. So we often, as human beings, think of physical protection because we have this physical body. Just admit, don't worry about these things. You'll be led, you'll be guided by me. She will take care of things, What is that critter? Yeah. Is that a big Texas critter? Yes. We don't have those. He's coming with me. St. Michael. The Archangel, defend us in battle. We are protection. Now we don't know where he went. It takes a text next to take care of this. I was in Medjugorje once too. They have scorpions there too. Not lots of them, but once in a while you'll see one. You're like, oh my goodness. They don't have those in Chicago either. Baker? Thanks, Beatrice. Come up right here. Okay, so I give you a little back on the movement. That's kind of the bigger worldly concerns that she has. Then she has all these wonderful messages on our personal conversion and our family, how to protect our family, to guide our family in these times. There's a beautiful message called 358, the family is consecrated to me. And just let me read a little bit about this. She says, I look with love on the families consecrated to me. In these times I am gathering the families and leading them into the depths of my Immaculate Heart, that they may be able to find refuge and security, comfort and defense. Just as I love to be invoked as Mother and Queen of my priests, so also I love to be invoked as Mother and Queen of the families consecrated to me. And it was in this year, this was 1987, right in those years, Pope John Paul II added to the Litany of Loretta, we say pray for us, all the different titles to the Blessed Mother, He added, before you say Queen of Peace, you say Queen of the Most Holy Rosary, pray for us. He inserted Queen of Families. So I go, where did you get that? Did you get that from this? Priests who were in the movement and we would meet at the international retreat in Italy, they would say, does he read the Blue Book? And Father Gober would say, well, it's the same Holy Spirit. He wouldn't say for sure, But he would meet with Pope John Paul II every year, and he'd have Mass with him and have a little conversation with him every year. And Pope John Paul II encouraged him to do this work. Your parish is the world. Let this movement move around in the world. And that's what's happening today. The Blessed Mother has called you here. She called me here. Beatrice was inspired by the Blessed Mother to be part of this movement. She called headquarters up in Maine a couple years ago, and we got in contact, and we began a little cenacle here in the parish. And that it's Queen of Peace. I mean, this is the main title of the Blessed Mother in the times that we're living in, is Queen of Peace. And peace comes to us by getting close to Jesus again. So she helps us get us back on track with what it means to be authentically Catholic. Okay, so There's three main commitments to the Marian movement of priests. One is to consecrate yourself to her Immaculate Heart. So in consecrating ourselves to her Immaculate Heart, we become hers. So like in this family consecrated, she says, I care for all, she says, I am the mother and the queen of families. I watch over their life. I take their problems to heart. I interest myself not only in their spiritual good, but also in the material good of all their members. When you consecrate a family to my Immaculate Heart, so that's what Mom and Dad do. And you can do that in your own words, just together. Say, Blessed Mother, we give you our family. We give you our marriage, and we give you our family and our kids. You take care of us. You show us how to live the authentic Christian life that we're supposed to live as Catholic Christians. Huh? So when you consecrate a family to my Immaculate Heart, she says, it is as though you open the door of your house to your Heavenly Mother. Invite her to come in and give her the opportunity to exercise her motherly function in an ever stronger way. This is why I desire that all Christian families consecrate themselves to my Immaculate Heart. Now, she doesn't say Catholic families, she says all Christian families. See, we've got to kind of help the Protestants understand the Blessed Mother a little bit, you know. And we can do that. You can do that in a gentle way. You know, it doesn't have to be this big division. I mean, she is Jesus' mother. Sometimes the Protestants get hooked up when we with the title Mother of God, because they think, well, how can she be the Mother of God, thinking God the Father? Well, she's not the Mother of God the Father. She's the Mother of Jesus, and Jesus is God, so we call her Mother of God. You know? Because she has that special relationship with Jesus that nobody else has. It makes her very special and very powerful. I ask that they open the doors of all their homes to me, so that I may come in and take up my motherly dwelling among you. I then come in as your mother, I dwell with you, and I take part in all your life. So a big part of this is to be praying a rosary every day. We're praying a rosary every day. We're thinking about the mysteries of Christ's life and Mary's life. And the Lord is forming us. Blessed Mother is forming us. Blessed Mother keeps us close to Jesus, who renews us, gets us back to confession. So before my encounter in Medjugorje, like I said, I didn't pray the rosary regularly, and I didn't go to confession as regularly. I went somewhat regularly. And many of us Catholics have fallen out of a regular routine, like I mentioned last night, of going to confession. Every time you go to confession, Father Goldie would say, it's like a baby. He was Italian, Northern, he was so Italian in his expressions, you know, so vivacious, he would say. It's like a little baby who dirties his diapers. It's like, okay, where's Father Goldie going with this? He says, and the mother, because the baby dirtied his diapers, doesn't mean the baby doesn't love it. Doesn't mean the mother doesn't love the baby. Huh? So she just picks up the baby and goes, ooh, stinky. This is what Father Goldie said. So then takes the baby, washes it up, you know, puts a little, I'm not a mother, so I used to say baking soda, but no, powder, baking powder on the baby, you know, pass the babies behind you, oh, and then Father Goldie would go, So that's, Father Goldie would say, that's what the Blessed Mother does with each and every one of us when we go to confession. She picks each of us up and goes, ew, stinky. And then dips us in the confessional, and then comes out. And so we need to do that routinely. Because the more regularly we do that, the happier we feel, the freer we feel. We're off to a new start again. You know, we're bound to mess up because we're weak and we will. But every time we go, we get strengthened. And then, of course, like I mentioned last night, with the sacrament, the Blessed Sacrament, and receiving the communion. And then, who was the fellow introducing the Holy Hour last night? Who was that guy? Is he here? Is he here this morning? He's not here. You know, he was at the point of tears just talking about the Eucharist. I'm like, how do you get to have that sensitive of a heart for Jesus? Because his presence is really here. Behind the wall is the tabernacle. Most churches, and some bishops, the Bishop of Madison, Wisconsin, told all the parishes to put the tabernacle back in the middle here, behind the altar. You know. It is. You know, this renewal is happening slowly again, because the devil's had his chance, but I'm pretty convinced the devil's time is up. He's doing his last hurrah right now, but when we look at the inroads that are being made, especially like in the young people's lives, I've heard of this Acts retreat, you know. The Acts retreat, up in Chicago, we have this thing called Alpha, which is, they're using that too. That's a Protestant-based evangelizing tool. And then they add a little Catholic addendum at the bottom of it. But that's not a good way to approach it because you're not getting a full Catholic understanding of the whole retreat weekend. But Acts is, apparently. And so these movements, or whether it be Focus, you know, the Fellowship of College University Students, or Steubenville, or these different, there's a renewal happening in our young people. And that's a light, that's a spark. And the renewal, too, that after Cardinal George put back the Roman Missal. This Roman Missal is the Mass since 2010. It's the same Mass since Vatican II, but the first Missal that came out after Vatican II wasn't bad in 63 or 4. Then 67, they changed it again. These committees in Washington, around the world. And then they changed it again in 70, 69 and 70. And every time they changed the translation, they kept dumbing it down. I met a priest on one of the Senegal retreats with the priests in Italy. And he said, oh yeah, I was on those early committees, and we were purposely taking the mystical, supernatural, miraculous language out of the prayers so that it would sound more humanistic and more psychological. So what the heck happened to you? He says, well, I'm in the Marian Woman priest now, you know. But he was on the other side doing all this crazy stuff that we get led into. And it's all the work of the devil to destroy the sense of what we're doing in the Mass. See, that's what the devil wants to do. He wants to break it down, destroy the church. And he's going to hit where it hurts the most. Priesthood, the Mass, confession. Confessions were on tremendous decline over the last 50 years, right? So what I'm saying is the Blessed Mother, this is the great gift. Blessed Mother will say, not here, she may have said this in Medjugorje, she says, when the shepherds are not taking care of the sheep, the heart of the mother gets anxious for her children. And God allows her to intervene. And so that's what we have. We have this intervention of the Blessed Mother today, helping us to appreciate and understand everything that Jesus wanted to give us. What made, you know, when Trump says, make America great again, you know, what made America great was that we obeyed the Ten Commandments. Our country was founded on the Ten Commandments. You know, it's politics of the Democrat Republic. Which, and like I said last night, which political party is staying closest to the Ten Commandments? That's the one we hold.
Neither.
You know, neither. That's right. I mean, they both have difficult. But which one is close? You know, and I mean, so that's what, you know. One is more pro-life than the other. You know, one is more anti-homosexual than the other. You know, I mean, so you know, we have to look at these things. And Blessed Mother helps us stay on track with Jesus' church and his 10 commandments. Okay, so Sister Elizabeth said the theme is turn to him who is love and mercy and grace. So we'll take a little break here, but I'm just going to end with this one line about grace. And one of the meditations we use regularly in the Marian Woman Priest Rosary is this: beloved children, I am the mediatrix of grace. Grace is the very life of God which is communicated to you. I love that definition. Because, you know, we're talking about something invisible. Yeah? Beloved children, I am the mediatrix of graces. Grace is the very life of God which is communicated to you. That's what we get. When we receive grace, we're getting God's life. It springs from the bosom of the Father and is merited for you by the Word, with a capital W, who is Jesus, who, in my virginal womb, became man to share with you that same divine life. And for this he offered himself as a ransom for you, becoming thus the one and only mediator between God and all humanity. So Jesus is the only mediator. It says that in Scripture. When Protestants challenge us on that, you agree with them. Yes, that's right. Jesus is the only mediator. But Mary has a role in this. See, she mediates the grace to us from Jesus. So Jesus is the mediator to the Father, and Mary helps us on our way to the Son, which is on the way to the Father. So she says, from the bosom of the Father, grace, in order to reach you, must therefore pass through the divine heart of the Son, who communicates it to you in his spirit of love. Just as a ray of light, which passes through a window, assumes its shape, color, and design, so too divine grace, merited by Jesus, can come to you only through him. And it is for this reason that it produces in you his own image, the very same image which shapes you ever more and more to his own person. Divine life can reach you only in the form of Jesus. Let me say that again, because there's a lot of New Agey stuff going on out there. And it's on the TV set, it's in our culture, and people are looking to weird pagan kinds of rituals for healing, for peace. I encountered this a lot down in Mexico. When my friend Andy Zovko and I, and some of the Hatch people are here, where his prayer team would go with him down to Juarez and then throughout all of Mexico. And because there's so much poverty down there, people are looking for help, but they'll look for help in the wrong places. These witch doctors or these, palm readers, whatever. The devil can heal, but it's only a temporary healing. And then it'll be a worse effect than before. You'll get both the illness back plus demons hanging around you. Okay? So that's why it's good. Divine life can reach you only in the form of Jesus. So if it's not something, a devotional life or a practice that we do in the church, and it has nothing to do with Jesus, stay away from it. Those Indian dream catcher things, get rid of those. Because if you're putting your trust in something that says, well, it'll catch the bad dreams, that's a bunch of malarkey. Nobody catches dreams. Jesus is our only protection. He's God. So throw those out. I got into an argument with a Jesuit priest up in North Dakota who were making them on their reservation up there and sending them out their mailings for their fundraisers. I'm going, what are you doing up there? It's not Jesuits. They get so twisted in their thinking. They think too much. They're too smart. They're too smart for their own riches. And pride and arrogance, it all kicks in, and then they're espousing these errors, and they make it sound so good, and it's all deep. So you gotta be careful, you gotta be discerning, you gotta walk. If it's not Jesus, divine life can reach you only in the form of Jesus. If it's not in his church and it's not in his catechism, get away from it. Encourage your friends and family. And people get attached to it, Oh no, I kind of like my oils, or I like my incense that has this thing that'll bring hope and forgiveness. But no, it won't. Only Jesus brings forgiveness and hope and love and healing. Our divine life can reach you only in the form of Jesus, and the more this increases in you, the more you are assimilated to him in such a way that you can really grow as his little brothers. By means of grace, the Father communicates himself to you ever more and more. The Son assimilates you, and the Holy Spirit transforms you, bringing about a relationship of life with the Most Holy Trinity, which becomes ever increasingly strong and active. Within souls who are in grace, it is the Most Holy Trinity itself which takes up its dwelling place there, in your soul. So that's how we get on track with the plan God had for you when he made you, when he created you, and his plan for redeeming the world. So Blessed Mother will help us appreciate these things and understand the actual influence on you. So she will actually lead you to do her plan. See, we all think we have our plans. And you can have a plan. Just be ready, though, with the Blessed Mother that she's going to change it. Okay? She can change it. And then, because she says to Father Gogi, don't get too attached to your plans, because when I change it, then you get upset. Okay? All right? So what she does is she helps us to be aware of what her plan is, and her plan is always better. When I have grown, as I've grown in my consecration in the Immaculate Heart of Marian, she takes care of all the little details of our life. Like I told that example earlier about mothers and motherhood. I remember in the seminary they would say, oh yeah, you can't wear your collar 24 hours. People will be on here after you all the time. So, we all graduated from the seminary back in the 80s after playing too much golf and too much cards, not wearing our collar, wearing our blue jeans. I was still smoking my cigarettes, Where's the impact? Where's the influence? I didn't know how to be the priest that Jesus wants me to be as a priest because Chicago trained me. Okay, it was the Chicago church, okay? But it's Jesus' church, and Blessed Mother knows what Jesus' church should look like and how we're best going to affect the world through Jesus' church. Not the American way of understanding Jesus' church, but Jesus' church. So, when I first started with my consecration, I had already quit drinking before I was in the seminary, first year of my major seminary after college. So that was a big turbulent time for me. There was alcoholism in my family. My dad got sober when I was a sophomore in high school. And I was hanging around the 12-step program all those years through as an adolescent teenager. And so that when college kicked in, my own drinking kicked in. It really took off. But I wasn't able to recognize it until I was done with college, which was 5 colleges later and 7 years later. So I kind of dragged my feet, I would say, right? Probably too much Miller High Life, you know. Okay, so when I could finally, the light bulb would go on, because I knew what alcoholism looked like, because I grew up with it, and I worked in the field a little bit, and I was raised in the self-help groups and stuff, so I kind of recognized earlier on, and I had a prayer about that, because when I was 16, they would tell us in the out-teen group, they would say, well, if you're an alcoholic, as a child of an alcoholic, not if you're a child of an alcoholic, you're either going to become one, marry one, or both. You know, for crying out loud. That's a sentence right there, you know. I'd rather be in jail, I think, you know. Okay, so I thought, oh my gosh, if that's true, and I don't know if it's true, but if it's true, I was like, God, help me to recognize it earlier in my life rather than later. So that was 16. So like I said, 7 years later, 5 colleges later, I got my calling to the priesthood when I was 17, but I just want to get to the major seminary. And all this college undergrad stuff was driving me crazy, but I got it done. And so I entered the seminary, but my drinking was still an issue. It was challenged the year before in a big way. It was a car incident and just a mess. I won't go into all the details, but anyway, I brought it up to my dad, and my dad says, well, but I wasn't sure, I wasn't convinced. And my dad said, well, if you're not convinced, if you're not sure, try controlling it for 30 days. They call it the acid test. And if you can set a limit for 30 days and stick to it, it doesn't mean don't drink, but set a limit. And if you can keep to that limit, you're probably not an alcoholic. And if you can't keep to it, you probably are. So, okay, I thought, okay, that's good, I'll do that. So I suddenly went, oh, what's social drinking? 2 drinks. I'll set it at 2. Well, the first time to try it out was there was a dinner party with the priest's religious community that I was living with at the time in college. This was near the end of my college career. And there was a big party among these priests at this religious house. And so, you know, there would be cocktails before dinner, and then there would be wine with dinner, and then there would be drambuie and cordials after dinner. Well, that's 4 drinks. So I'm like, well, 2 isn't social, 4 is social, because you got to have 2 cocktails and then wine and a cordial, right? So I'm already changing the 2. So I'm up to 4. Okay. And I thought, okay, it's going to be 4 for this month, right? And I thought, and then when I go out to the bar with my buddies, I'll just have my 4 beers, and that'll be it. So I go out to the bar that weekend with my friends, my buddies, and the pitchers start flowing, you know, like they always do. And they start at 10:30 or 11 when we get to the bar. And I had my 4 glasses, and I said, well, I gotta go. They're like, you gotta go, we just got here. It's just starting, it's true, it's only been like, you know. I said, no, I gotta go. And I didn't want to go, but I'm like, I said 4, and I'm sticking to it, you know. So I walked away from the bar that night and stuck to the 4. But it wasn't easy. I mean, I could feel like I wanted more. And then it was a week later at the bar again. Oh, 5. Then a week or 2 later, 6 or 5 or 6. So I forget about it. For a year and a half goes by. I forgot about the whole thing. Now I'm in the situation up at the seminary, my first year, and it was Holy Thursday, and it was a big formal dinner after we did the Holy Thursday formal dinner, tablecloths, the whole 9 yards. And afterwards, the partying continued in the rec hall and cards and playing all night, games all night and all that. So everybody's pretty much gone to bed by 4 in the morning. I was up with one guy until about 4. And then there was no more beer. I was like, there's no more beer in the whole seminary. The liquor stores are closed. I think in Mundelein they closed at 2. And I had this craving for another one. I'm like, where am I going to get a beer? Well, this was Holy Thursday, so February was my birthday, and somebody gave me a big 16-ounce Stroh's. But it was warm, and it was sitting on my desk. I hated warm beer, but it was a beer. So I went out, it was 4 o'clock. It's 4 o'clock, it's 5, yeah. 4 o'clock, so I bring it down, I drink this last beer, and I was just kind of in this melancholy, depressed kind of weird place I go while I listen to my Frank Sinatra music. And then after that beer was finished, I poured it on ice. I hated beer on ice, but it was a beer, so I finished the beer. And then I went to bed by 5. And I woke up at 6, wide awake. And I was like, what the heck is wrong with me? And then the light bulb went on because I worked in the field of addictions for a while shortly after high school, and I would listen to these counselors talk about alcoholism. And one of the first symptoms that's going to happen once it becomes more manifest that it's an alcohol problem, alcoholism, is that it affects your central nervous system. Because I'm thinking, I'm wide awake. I should sleep till noon with a hangover, big time. And wide awake, so I thought, a year and a half ago I tried controlling this. I should go back to controlling it. And then it dawned on me, I blew that a year and a half ago. So I can't control it. And then the third light bulb went on. I have a drinking problem. And I was so happy. I was like so relieved that the light bulb went on that I have a drinking problem. And so I got up and went for a walk. It was a beautiful lake. Mundelein Seminary in Chicago is really a magnificent campus. It's very pretty. So 6 o'clock, I went down by the lake, and I'm just so grateful to God that I'm recognizing that I'm an alcoholic, because I know what to do to resolve that. And I was excited that I would get the 12-step program back again, because those were always so helpful and so good. Meeting with other guys who are trying to stay sober, and you meet new friends who are really trying to live life the way they're supposed to live it, and we dump all of the guilt and the shame of all of the garbage we did when we were drinking. It's like a whole new opportunity, So I went to the first meeting that night, because now it's Good Friday, and my friend from high school, who knew I was a little bit in trouble, but I wasn't earlier in the year recognizing I had this anxiety over school. I always did. I went to talk to one of the priests about it. He said, well, go see this doctor. I went to go see this doctor. He's a psychologist for the seminary. And he prescribed for me some mild depressant called Belladonna, which is an old drug. But when I took it, it kind of made me feel kind of good. So I was taking that plus drinking, and my buddy from high school said, Charlie, he was really nervous. You gotta get off that stuff. You can't be. I said, really, Bob, just chill out. It's really nice, So when I finally got sober, I told him that was in November when they got sober. I got sober in April, and he says to me, I called him up. I said, Bob, I'm ready to go to a meeting. I said, this was that Good Friday. I said, come pick me up and go to a meeting. He said, all right. He says, and my other high school buddy's name was Roy. He was a Protestant guy. Not that any of the Catholics were good Catholics anyway. So Roy comes up to me and he says, Bob says, now we're going to go pick up Roy. Now, but don't tell Roy, because it'll be a surprise. Because those two, Roy and Bob, had started going to AA 6 months earlier. So okay, so I get in the car, we drive, we'll pick up Roy. Roy's like, hey, you're one of us. So we go to our first meeting, and the meeting is at the hospital in Arlington. So I walk in the meeting, and it's my dad's meeting. It's the meeting my dad goes to. I look at him, he looks at me, So that was the beginning of my recovery. So back then, I would say, when I was 6 years, I said, God, if it becomes a problem for me, help me to recognize it earlier than later in my life. My dad was probably in his 40s when he recognized it, Nothing like wasting a big part of your life stuck on this stuff. And not getting on with life the way God wants it. So I would pray for that, because they would say it's the only illness or disease that your brain tells you you don't have. If you say, oh, I broke my arm, you go to the ortho guy. Oh, I got sinus problems, you go to your ear, nose, and throat guy. Oh, you have a drinking problem? No, I don't. Right? I can handle it. I'm fine. So it takes some real work on our psyche to get us convinced. Sometimes it's family members, sometimes it's not. We can't be doing it for anybody else. We have to do it for ourselves only. And that's the hard thing about addictions. If you know people who are stuck in addictions, they can't stop until they finally make a complete and total decision that they can't touch the stuff. And try not to touch it just for one day. Because we can do it for one day at a time. Especially in the beginning when it's more intense. But then after that, it gets a little bit easier to not use. But it's always lurching there. So I just had my 36th anniversary April 1st, just a few days ago. I'm so grateful to God for my dad's recovery, because it helps. If a dad gets on top of it, then he's a good example to his sons. But in my cousin's case, my uncle didn't get sober. My cousin did at 18. And he was a pretty bad alcoholic at 18 back then, in the 80s, late 70s, 80s. And then my uncle got it maybe some 10 years after his son did. And I don't know which side was worse with the alcoholism. I think the Irish side was worse. Okay, so let me give you a little background now. So this is not Medjugorje, the Blue Book. The Blue Book is Blessed Mother's movement to priests, but also to laity. It's not only for priests. Like I mentioned, the families. She talks about families being consecrated to her. Talks about the youth. She talks about governments. She talks about the effect of consecration on all different levels. Personal level, family level, parish level, country level, and international, worldwide level. Okay, so it's a tremendous book. And like I mentioned, now, Beatrice has a Senecal going here on every other Wednesday at 6:30 in one of the classrooms here. Every Wednesday night. Now, it won't be this Wednesday because there's confessions. So the following Wednesday, which is the Wednesday before Holy Thursday, would be one. And then if you want to come to that, she's also got it in the bulletin. Okay? She'll have books available. She'll order for some more books from headquarters, which is up at the very top of Maine, out on the East Coast. And so the books aren't available in a bookstore, because it's a private movement. So, like I say, it has a number of imprimaturs on it by cardinals and bishops, so it's all okay with the church's teaching. Nothing in it is harmful to us. And because they are actually the Blessed Mother's words given to Father Gobi in the form of what is called an interior locution. So people sometimes have a vision, like the visionaries in Medjugorje, they'll see Our Lady. There's 6 visionaries and there's 2 locutionaries in Medjugorje. Some people don't know that. 2 locutionaries who received messages of the Blessed Mother from when they were like 13 till they were 18 or 19. All through their teen years. And how to form prayer groups. So a locution is a mystical experience that happens. This whole word or message is given, and the person can retain it until it's written down. Once it's written down, it's no longer in their memory. So there's some special grace that allows them to retain. And some of these messages are 2 or 3 pages. Most of them are a page. So the Mary Woman Priest, that'll help us to understand what Our Lady started in Fatima and continues to do with us. Medjugorje, Blessed Mother says that what I began in Fatima, I will conclude in Medjugorje. So somebody came up to me and asking me about, where does Medjugorje stand in the church, by the church's perspective? Well, an apparition doesn't have to be approved by the church to go to it. If an apparition is condemned by the church, then you should not go to it. Because if there's something in there that's harmful and not right. But if it's not approved, like Medjugorje, it's not officially approved, it's affirmed by many different bishops and cardinals, Cardinal Schomorn. Like this, they're affirmed and they receive imprimaturs, but there's not an official approval of it, because it's ongoing most of all. And so just like Fatima, the visionaries in Fatima had that big miracle. They told all the people on October 13th, right? The miracle of the sun. 70,000 people gathered for that miracle. Well, if you go with the idea that you can't go to Medjugorje because it's not approved by the church, then the 70,000 people that went up the hill shouldn't have gone up the hill because Fatima wasn't approved by the church. You see the reasoning there? So it's okay to go to this. It's okay to go to Medjugorje. It is important to discern unapproved apparitions. Because Father Gopi would always say, for the one Lourdes apparition in France, there were 20 false apparitions. So there's a lot of malarkey out there. Either the devil's stirring it up, or people who are not balanced kind of jump on that bandwagon, and it's meeting all kinds of strange needs for somebody or whatever, So you have to be discerning it. But this stuff has been around for like 30 years or 40 years now already, so it's been discerned quite well. So by all means. But like I said, Medjugorje, I've been there 70 times now with groups from Chicago, well, not just Chicago, people jump on that group. And I have two groups generally that go in May and October, and then maybe beginning June. And the beautiful gift of the Medjugorje pilgrimage is you spend a week just on your faith, So I think even just doing that would be would lend a fervor and a zeal to your spiritual life. Even if you did that here, spend a week in the church and we all talked about the faith all week, that would have a tremendous impact. So spending that kind of time, giving that kind of time to your spiritual life, and then when you start encountering different little miracles of the Blessed Mother there in Medjugorje, well then it's like, holy cow, this is real, I smelled roses one time so powerfully in this taxi cab of all places, You think like there should be roses in a communist taxi cab. Back then it was 1980, it was communism. But man, it was so strong, it was like somebody shoving roses up my nose. I'm like, what the heck is this? I thought it was the guys, there's a spray of roses on the back of this taxi cab. And they were all 20, 30-year-old taxi cabs because people are poor over there, I turned around and all of a sudden there was his leather coat. This was my second trip to Medjugorje, and I didn't have a sign like that on the first trip. But that sign happened at a time in that cab when, in the course of 24 hours, two people who were strangers to my life told me the exact same thing about my life that was a challenge at the moment, and using the same phraseology. One was on the plaza of the church, and the next day when we were up on top of Cross Mountain. So things happen like this, different little mystical, miraculous things can happen. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. After my first trip there, this was the second trip, but after my first trip there, I didn't feel like I really had a miracle thing or, sun spinning thing or whatever people see, like at Fatima. But when I got home, it was 2 weeks later that it hit me like a ton of bricks that she's really there. And we're not paying attention to her. This is one of the greatest gifts God could give our generation. And we're not paying attention. And then when you start paying attention to the Blessed Mother, guess what? She's going to have you start paying attention to Jesus, who you didn't even really recognize here in the church because he's locked up in that box behind the wall, where you can't find him too easily. It's like, but she will bring you there. So like that gentleman who was introducing the Holy Hour last night to the point of tears. See, that's what she does. She brings us into a relationship with Jesus, that we fall in love with Jesus. We feel, we experience Jesus. And that's going to strengthen our marriages. It's going to strengthen your dating, so that your dating is pure and good and holy and helpful. Which, by the way, reminds me, there's one message I came across this morning I want to share with you about purity. Blessed Mother says in this message, 3:05 on February 14th, St. Valentine's Day, 1985, my purity and yours. Because St. Valentine's Day is a dirty day. It's not just bringing flowers anymore to your girlfriend or candy. It's getting way out of hand what people expect on Valentine's Day. So she says, only to the pure. First she talks about her own purity for most of the message, but I just jumped ahead because of the time. Only to the pure are the mysteries of the reign of God revealed. Then she talks about the pure of mind, pure of heart, pure of soul, and pure of body. She says, the pure of mind, because they know how to recognize his plan and to accept it with humility. So when we're pure, physically, then our minds are enlightened spiritually to recognize God. But if we're impure and we're walking with sexual sin, or we're walking with compromised teachings, which is influencing our mind, and it's not pure in the ways of Christ. Father Hardin, John Hardin, a famous Jesuit, faithful guy, died in the year 2000, said, when we're in mortal sin, we can't think clearly. Simple. And when we start going to confession and we're not in mortal sin, we can think clearly, and we can experience Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament. So, the pure of mind, the pure of heart, because they are detached from good. So the pure of heart would be those who make God the most important thing in their heart, and not the things of this world. The things of the world are supposed to be used for the benefit of helping one another come to know God. The pure of heart, because they are detached from goods, from creatures, and from their own way of seeing things, which impedes one from receiving my light, because one wants to filter and judge it through one's own human and limited intelligence. So we let go of we need to be educated, but we always approach our education and our intellect and our knowledge with humility, that we can always learn something new, that we don't know it all. Even if we're an expert in some field, there could still be somebody who knows something more than you. So as long as you have that humble disposition, then God can work with us and bring us to new awarenesses and insights. But the pure of heart are those who are detached from goods, from creatures, and from their own way of seeing things. Thirdly, the pure of soul, who flee the least shadow of sin. Okay, so that's what means they have a pure soul. Here's a story in Medjugorje. Yakov Cholo was the 10-year-old at the time of the apparitions, and in this first summer of the apparitions, the visionaries, somebody had asked if in the public, could we touch her? And she said, well, I'll ask the Blessed Mother. So the Blessed Mother said yes. So all of these people, the visionary would take their hand and guide it to where the Blessed Mother was, standing in front of the visionary, because we can't see her. So this went on for a few minutes. And finally, Yaakov sees all these black smudges on the Blessed Mother's dress. And he starts to cry, and he says, why are there these black marks? What does that mean? And she says, these are the sins of the people. Tell them that they need to go to confession. So, the pure of soul. It darkens our soul. I remember, I didn't know how I was going to quit smoking. Quit smoking was one of the last things I had difficulty with. First was with alcohol, which was way before the apparitions and before meeting Blessed Mother, by the grace of God, thank you God. Then the cigarettes, I never knew how to quit smoking cigarettes. I had my teen club helping me keep track of my cigarettes to help me quit, And I would try the Nicorette gum and the whole, all that stuff. So, on my third trip to Medjugorje, which was a year from my first trip, so after the Roses one, 6 months later, I'm back there. But before I went on the sixth trip, I consecrated myself to our Immaculate Heart by this consecration with the Marian movement. The week before I went on the trip, because I was fed up to here trying to figure out my priesthood by myself. I said, this was my consecration. It's a very simple thing. I just said it from my heart. And this is all any of you have to do. I said, Blessed Mother, I'm sick and tired of trying to figure out this priesthood by myself. I said, as long as I'm alive on this earth, you have it. You show me how to live it. And she took it. There were a number of different things that happened in the course of that week that proved it. So here, jumping ahead now, I'm on this third trip to Medjugorje, a year from the first one, but now I'm consecrated. And I'm not fully aware of what that means she's going to do with me, but she's doing things with me. So I thought, okay, I'll climb the mountain and I'll leave my cigarettes on the top across the mountain and I'll come down free of cigarettes and, so this way. So I go up with the group and there was one paraplegic guy in the group, And two of my friends helped this guy get all the way up across the mountain. I'm thinking, you guys are crazy. This is, getting up is one thing, getting him down, it's going to take all day, So I come down the mountain after I left my cigarettes up there. And I'm already angry when I see my two friends helping this guy. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. How long you guys get to this place, Well, it's taking us less than so, and I just started getting crabby because I'm not smoking my cigarettes, okay? So I get down off the thing, and after I thought about my behavior after that trip, I said, maybe today isn't the day to quit smoking my cigarettes. So I didn't quit. I just thought, I'll never get through this trip if I don't smoke. So that was October of '90. end of December, last week of December, I'm talking to a friend on the phone, and she says, "So Father Charlie, did you ever think of quitting smoking for 91? I wish everybody would leave me alone with my smoking. I'm going to smoke, right through 1991, okay?" I just asked her, Father. I was like, okay, whatever. So I go to Mass the next morning in my parish. This wasn't my home parish. It was a parish I was living in while I was getting ready to leave the priesthood. The cardinal let me do this different arrangement. So anyway, this lady comes up to me after the Mass and she says, and I knew her name is Mary. Mary, that's always the clue too, Mary. Always Mary's in my life. So she comes up and she says, Father Charlie, she says, the Blessed Mother spoke to me in the Mass today. I go, oh, she did she? You know, like, yeah. Mm-hmm. She says, do you think it's true? And she says, how did she say this? She says, do you think I'm crazy? I go, I don't know. Tell me some more. She said, well, she said, the Blessed Mother told me that you have to quit smoking. I'm thinking, She said, because it's clouding your soul. I'm like, ew. Now, I needed a motivation to quit. And I was only 32 or 3, and I thought, well, it's not going to be cancer. I'm too young for that. I don't have a heart problem. I'm too young for that. I said, what would be a motivation? Because I was praying, God, help me to want to quit. See, I didn't really want to quit. I prayed to quit, help me to quit smoking, but that's different than saying help me to want to quit. So I needed a motivation. So this Blessed Mother, she says, it's clouding your soul. She says, so I was thinking like, you mean his spirit? Because we're all involved with this spirit stuff, right, Father? I go, yeah, what'd she say? She said, no, his soul. I'm thinking, oh. So I was thinking, how can it be clouding my soul? I thought about this later, I mean, working with the kids, being in the church, needing to take a cigarette break, come back into the church, and, I mean, probably I'm not even paying attention in my ministry because I'm having a Nick fit or whatever. So I thought, okay, whatever. She said it's clouding my soul. She said, so do you think I'm crazy? I go, well, no. I said, I've heard of this. I've heard of this gift in the charismatic people. They say it's a gift of knowledge. She says, well, this is what happened to me before. A few months ago, my neighbor, I felt like I was supposed to give her a rosary, and I didn't give her a rosary. She had a stroke, and she went to the hospital and came back. When she came back, I went right over there and I gave her the rosary. I said, well, yeah, I've heard of this. This is called a gift of knowledge. Sometimes people get a charismatic gift like this, that you're just supposed to deliver the message, but you don't know what it means or how it applies, but you have to just trust that God wants you to say this to this person, and it means something to the person. And I said, it means something to me. You don't know how much this means to me because I've been doing this. She didn't even know that I smoked. So it isn't like one of these nice little ladies that want Father to quit smoking kind of thing, Okay, so it was genuine. So I went back over the rectory, across the street, pulled out my old Nick Red gum, started chewing the gum, I had 10 cigarettes that day, chewed the gum. The next day, chewed the gum, 3 cigarettes. Next day, all day, no cigarette except at the very end of the day, chewed the gum all day. That was it. I had this motivation. If it's clouding my soul, I want to get as much of my purgatory time done here. Why don't we go over with purgatory off the set? I mean, nothing like getting done with this whole wide world and then have to face purgatory. So maybe a little, but let's not like lay it on, baby. So I thought, okay, this is my motivator. So I chewed the gum the rest of the week. Then after that week, I started chewing juicy fruit gum, and I'm not a gum chewer, didn't like the juicy fruit, spit it out. That was the end of it. So I got on this phone call with this lady who said to me, oh, I thought you're going to quit smoking anymore. I called her up and said, guess what, Jen? I said, I quit smoking. You quit smoking, she said. I said, yeah. She said, I thought you were going to smoke right through 91, And it was just a week later. And anybody who smoked and tried to quit, you know how this goes. It's not an easy thing, but that was it. That was the end of it, So Our Lady helped me do that. I don't always usually tell that smoking story, but these are things that Our Lady does. If we give our life to her, she's going to take us by the hand or by the ear and put me in the black clothes, because I came to realize, I didn't finish the story earlier, that when the seminary was saying that, seminarians, I realized that as I wore my blacks, Blessed Mother gives you work when you want to rest, and she gives you rest when you're ready to work. But there's always enough work and always enough rest. It's just not your plan. It's her plan, and she's getting more done her way than our bright ideas. So that's how this works in simple terms for me, and for anybody. So if you're interested in it, it's an adventure. It really is. And things get done. Even just coming down here, and meeting Beatrice. I believe, I know, Blessed Mother did this. Of course, I have my Hatch friends that 30 years ago we did Medjugorje together. So it's Hatch related, but Beatrice was out of the blue here in El Paso. So to come down from Hatch, I've been visiting Hatch on and off over the years. It's like the next step. Blessed Mother has me here in your face. And she wants to bring you in to her Immaculate Heart. She's got something for you because you're here. And we're doing something together, okay? So she says, beloved children. Oh no, so that's the pure of soul. About the shadow and that's reminding the cigarette, clouding your soul. Okay. But sin is too, of course, obviously. The pure of body. And this is such a difficult thing today. I went to see Unplanned a couple days ago. Many of you have seen Unplanned. If you haven't seen Unplanned, you got to see Unplanned. I mean, I read the book. I met Abby Johnson before. But the movie just puts the whole perspective right in place of her conversion and her walking away from the abortion industry. And it's very powerful. And it helps us be very much attentive and aware that we just need to keep praying and doing what we can do, but most especially prayers, because this is all from impurity. All these abortions are from impurity. One sin begets another sin. If you ever watch 48-Hour Mysteries, how many of you ever see that? Okay, sometimes 48-Hour Mystery, every murder seems to have, before the murder, some adultery. Doesn't it? It's always another woman, it's always some infidelity, there's something that's what, it stirs up this anger, this hatred like we were talking about before. And who would ever think that we would do something like murder? But that's what abortion ends up doing. We get afraid, and then the sin builds on the sin. We become afraid, and we do something rash. We do something, out of fear. And so, before we do something like that in abortion, we need to slow down and ask God, I know I messed up here. Help me to figure out a way to get out of this problem the way you want me to get out of this problem, not the way I want to get out of this problem, just to continue living in the way of the world, because the way of the world is a corrupt world. And that's how conversions begin. And then when we realize that God is there for us, no matter what the difficulty is in our families, whether it's alcoholism, it's divorce, the divorces are ridiculous. They're skyrocketing. It's because the devil's attacking the family. But nobody's paying any attention to what the devil's doing. They're not blaming the devil. They're blaming God. God, why are you letting this happen to me? It's not God. You guys forgot about the devil. He's sitting in the corner going, And we don't know where to go. We don't have recourse. And our young people oftentimes don't have the faith passed on to them. This is tremendous that they're here. There's a small group, but it's representative of their generation, and they need to be here. They've been chosen to be here. They're called to be here because God's called them to be here, even if it's through your parents. Even if it's obedience to your parents when you're underage. God works through your parents. It's not always easy to be obedient to your parents. It's not always easy to be obedient to the bishop. Okay? We all have different places where it's difficult to be obedient to, but there's something in the obedience because God works through the right kind of obedience. Not an obedience that, is oppressive and, dictatorial, but, when things are honored. Okay, so the pure of body, because consecrating it to God in celibacy and in a vow of chastity, which is for us religious kind of people here in religious orders, it becomes more conformed to that of Jesus Christ and enlightened by the immaculate light which clothes my glorious body. But so too in marriage, there's a certain chastity according to your state of marriage, which means you're not available for the rest of the world physically. It's your wife and your husband. And some days that's not always easy. Maybe you're tempted to go outside of that boundary that you committed to. Because as we're faithful to that commitment, good things, cherishable things, beautiful things happen. Number one, children. Even when children can be difficult, they're also very much a joy. Actually, with I don't remember what mystic it was, but Jesus says, I give you the experience of children to break up the monotony of your adult life. Isn't it true? You know, our adult life can get pretty routine, and then in comes a 2-year-old, you know? Boom! You know, banging on a step, you know? Doing something. It's like, oh, Mamma Mia, okay, that's what children do. They bring joy and happiness. And we need it, and especially like with the younger teens and young adults, we older people have to be mindful of this. I've come to realize this the last few years. We can't be talking always about the negative decline of the church. Yeah. Yes, we've lived longer, we've seen the good and the bad and the ugly, you know, but when we're always talking about that ugly, these kids don't know what that ugly is. The kids only know the good things that they're experiencing, you know, and the joy that they're having, and the songs that they're singing once they come into a relationship with God. So we should kind of quell or turn down our little negative look at things, which is true, it's there, but when they're young, we build up their spirit so they have all the energy they're going to need to face that dark times when they come to, you know, so that nothing ultimately overpowers us, but they're given great strength. Okay, beloved children, I want you all to be pure of mind, of heart, of soul, and of body, in imitation of your all beautiful Heavenly Mother. Then, upon the world of today, so permeated with coldness and hatred, you will be the light of the sun, coming down to warm souls and open them up to the life of God. So first, we experience that. That's what you're here today. Blessed Mother showing you warmth in your soul, opening you up to the life of God. And then you'll be used as an instrument to do the same for your family and friends. Amidst the threatening clouds which have appeared upon humanity's present moment, you open up a clear blue patch in the sky. You guys always have a blue patch in the sky. It's beautiful. Over the rotting and putrid swamp to which the world has been reduced. Now, Blessed Mother doesn't mince any words, does she? You know, she's a mother, but she says the reality. You know, so you and I, we become a blue patch in the sky of the cloudiness that is over the rotting and putrid swamp to which the world has been reduced. It is really sick out there, and you and I know it. And these movies, Blessed Mother says the very second message, turn off the television. Don't watch the television. I threw my television out 25 years ago. It was kind of cool throwing it into a dumpster and it crashed. There was a Argentinian bishop. I often wondered if it was maybe our Pope, who said, shoot your television. I thought, well, I thought that's kind of an American thing that we do, but apparently they do it down there too. Shoot the television. Well, that's kind of fun, you know, set that thing out in the backyard like a target practice and throw a brick in there. Or if you do have a television, you know, cover it up, roll it into the closet, and only pull it out when you're going to watch the song Bernadette. Or a little EWTN or whatever, you know. Because even the commercials are so gross and ugly. Everything is so putrid and rotting, swine. So we have to protect our eyes from that stuff. I hear the confessions of junior high kids and middle school kids, and you know, they're just innocently going through the computer and they come across something. These pop-ups. I'm not on it so much, but you know, they tell me this, and then they're shocked. You know, they're little kids. And I said, well, when that happens, you know, say a Hail Mary right away, and because once the image is in there, then you can't get it out. It's in there. It would take a long time staying away from any porn or anything like that before your mind finally is more at rest, and we're not thinking these images and these fantasies and this stuff that really zaps us of real caring personhood. Be mindful of each other's personhood. I say, you know, pornography trains our brain to be just stuck there in a fantasy world of sexual impurity, and then we're actually training our mind to stay selfish. It's a selfish view of relationships, and it keeps us focused on our own selfish needs, selfish pleasures, selfish desires, you know. So to stop that opens up our mind and our heart to being more careful with one another. You know, men, of course, have the more physical temptation. Women, it's always a heart thing more so. Not that they're not physically pulled in too, but it's more of the heart. So romance novels are like, to me, for women, like pornography for men. Don't let that kind of imagination of false, fictional relationships don't hide there, don't go there. It's not good for you, see. It puts you then on a path of selfishness and self-seeking and in a different kind of way. So these are all different ways and traps of the devil to get us stuck in misery and unhappiness. Now you say, well, how do we move out of these sins? Like for the alcoholic, I like to tell this little story. This happened once in an AA meeting. The guy comes in, he's just getting sober, and he sits down at the table and he says, well, what am I going to do for my daughter's wedding? Well, when's your daughter's wedding? Well, she's only 3. We panic because we don't know how we're going to live without these sins we've kind of gotten attached to. What am I going to do if I'm not smoking all day when I get up in the car? How are we going to do that? And God is like, if you give it to God, God is going to slowly move you from one way of behaving, human behavior, and move you into another. It may even mean you're going to be making new friends, and bringing along with you the friends that want to follow you, but maybe some won't. But we're following God, and people will follow you if they're following God, and you're going to have plenty of friends. And it's going to be an awesome adventure. Okay. So, over the rotting and putrid swamp to which the world has been reduced, you will be a mirror of purity. In it, the world will be reflected and will be helped to be slowly transformed into a new garden. Only in this way, beloved children of mine, will you be able to become the rays which shine down from my immaculate heart to light up the terrible time of purification through which you are living. So the good news is it's a purification. All of the stuff that's going on is purifying. The Blessed Mother says the 4 marks of the church is being purified, the 4 signs that the church is being purified. One is confusion. This is, I forget what year it is in here, 1984 or something. Pure confusion. Well, we're reading a lot of confusion now, aren't we? It's bishops against bishops and cardinals against cardinals. The Pope is saying things that are, bringing more confusion than clarity. And so, this is all part of the sign that it's being purified. So that's a good thing. We're on the way out, but we got to go through it. The other one is lack of discipline. Okay, so, we're not good at persevering through a routine of things that help build us in virtue of the way God would like for us to be formed and built. So we have a lack of discipline, a lack of perseverance. And then fourthly, the persecution. And we're beginning to see the persecution of the church, especially in the Middle East, where Christians are being killed. Oh, they'll talk about when the Muslims get killed, but then after that, a week later, whatever happened for whatever country that was, there was twice as many Christians that got killed because there's retaliation of the hatred that's going back and forth, right? Okay. So, it's being purified, but that's a good thing. It's going to be painful, but with the Blessed Mother and with one another, we can talk about these things and help each other get through it all. So this terrible time of the purification through which you are living, and to give to everyone a sure sign of my presence and my victory. I bless you in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. So, if you have a pen and paper, I'll give you the phone number for the book. But like I mentioned, Beatrice is going to, she'll order boxes of these books if you want to just come to the Senecal in the next, they'll probably be available in a month from now, but come to the Senecal, because we always read a message and pray the rosary and let the Blessed Mother work with you. This movement is more like it's not like joining a third order or a different kind of ministry in the church. It's more like background music to anything you already belong to, right? So as you listen to the Blessed Mother, she's going to help make your presence at the Mass more fruitful, more deep confession. It's going to enhance it. And anything that you then bring to your other committees and commitments that you're involved in the church, or even like the youth group, or the Blessed Mother is going to help you be better at whatever you're doing. All right, so the phone number for the book, in case you just want to go ahead and get one that way, is area code 207. That's up in St. Francis, Maine, at the very top. And then 398-3375. And the gal up there, the secretary for the movement, is Tammy. She'll answer the phone or take your message eventually. And she can mail you a copy, or if you want to wait for the box to be delivered, Beatrice will have them available. It's a free will donation unless Mother wants this book to go out. So if you can't afford it, just take one. If you can afford a couple bucks, that's fine. The suggested donation is $20, but whatever you can do is fine. You know, that gives you a ballpark idea of what it is. But again, it's a free will donation because Blessed Mother doesn't want money to get in the way, but she wants this message out. But we also have to make the books. Okay, and then the website. If you want to just check out the website, I redid the website a couple years ago. It's very nice, and there's a couple of talks I have on there too. That if you want to listen to, you can. And that's mmp-usa.net. mmp-usa.net. Okay. The Medjugorje flyers, right? You know, if anybody's interested in going to Medjugorje, Beatrice, I have a couple extra copies of that. And is there anything else, Beatrice, I left out that you want to maybe mention?
Hello, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Apr2019, and I'm helping get the Senegals launched here and spread out. Everyone is invited. We will be posting it again on the newsletter. Our next Senegal, which is going to be Wednesday, not of this coming week, but the following week at 6:30. And if that is not a convenient time for you, don't worry. What we want is to have people come, learn, become familiar with the process, and then start more Senegals different days and different times and in different languages. Right now it's in Spanish and English, but you can become familiar with them. And also at the entrance we have the yellow pages which have the information on the pilgrimages to Medjugorje with Father Becker. And I feel that Our Lady is working here, and she had a reason. She wanted this Senegals to start for this area at Queen of Peace. Actually, I received a call. I didn't know much about it, but it is her work, and we have seen miracles and confirmations that this is her job that is being done here. So everyone is welcome to join the Senegals, and you will see more information in the bulletins. We are going to order books and guides. So you can also get them through the office. Once we have them here, we will announce those books as well. And the suggested donation is also to support the Marian movement of priests throughout the world. So it's not only the actual cost to produce a book, but also to help support the Marian movement of priests, especially in countries where they don't have, communities where they don't have enough funds to continue promoting it and holding the Senegal. So I would say first, I want to give praise and thanks to our Blessed Mother and to thank her for allowing us to have this, so we can have just recognize her for allowing us. And also for Father Becker accepting it to come and to be here with us. So thank you.
The movement means so much to me. Medjugorje does, of course, too. It gets the whole thing started. But the Marian movement of priests is explaining everything we're living through and the difficulties we're having, the attacks on the family, the attacks on our country. I mean, everything. She explained the downfall of the communism, so she's very much aware of the political vision too. Senegal comes from the word cena, which is for supper in Italian, cena, Italian, Latin. So Senegal was the Last Supper room, the upper room. So Blessed Mother wants it called a Senegal or Cenacolo, you know, because she's here with us when we have a Senegal. We're in the classroom, and the greatest, she says, one of the most important Senegals is to have one in your family. It only takes 2 or 3 people, like Jesus says, to have me in your presence, you know, where 2 or 3 are gathered, I am there. Blessed Mother says the same thing for a Senegal. If you have a little family Senegal, your husband, your wife, you put the rosary together, and then just read one of the readings, and let the Blessed Mother teach you. So when you get the book, don't let it just be used only in the Senegal, but like read a message each night, just starting at the beginning. Father Rue, who was the former director of the Marian Movement, priest would say, read the first 50 messages, and you kind of see what she's doing, informing Father Gobi, and that's meant for all of us. You kind of flip through the book at different things, but there's always something she's doing to help us.
And we also want to remind all parishioners or visitors that we have a beautiful grotto that we are all invited to come and pray there. So it's at the bottom of the chapel, underneath the chapel. So please help us continue praying the rosary, promoting, and now the message is also for Blessed Mother, so we can start turning hearts around, and as she says, recovering the territory that Satan has gained. So let's be part of it, and that's why we need our youth to be part of this army.
And the youth too can start their own. Start with maybe if you just get a little handle on it, but it's nice to just get your own home. It's nice to just get together with a few of the other kids and pray a rosary. When I first started coming back from Medjugorje, I had a teen rosary that I developed that was started off of a confirmation retreat that the kids had to make up for, and it was an extra retreat for makeup in the middle of the summer. There were only about 12 kids on it, and they were juniors. And I said, would anybody like to learn about the rosary? And first I asked the youth minister, who was a 60s hippie guy, and I said, could I show him the rosary? He said, absolutely not. He says, you can do it on your free time, but it's not part of the retreat. See, that's the kind of sentiment that's to the old devotional life, right? So I said, okay. So I got the kids together in this other cabin, and we sat in a circle, about 10 of us, and we prayed a rosary. We're all sitting Indian style, like that, in a circle on the floor. And afterwards, one of the girls said, Father Charlie, No, first of all, it was quiet for like 5 minutes. Their eyes are closed. I've never seen teenagers with their eyes closed quiet for 5 minutes. I'm like, wow, this is cool. So we're just sitting there, I'm just watching them. Their eyes are all closed. One opens up their eyes, another one. She says to me, Katie says to me, Father Charlie, could we keep doing this at the church? I go, you want to keep doing this at the church? They go, yeah. I said, I'll ask the pastor, see if we can do it. So I checked with the pastor, he said, sure. Now I wasn't in that church, because I was leaving that church, I was in my other, but it was the kids I knew. So I went back to it, and we started our program. This was June or July. By August, well, even in the course of a couple of weeks, I had 25 kids, and they're all juniors and seniors, praying the rosary. And we did all 15 decades. We'd sit in one of the rooms, the outside room there, because I didn't know how to do anything with the Eucharist. I would take the Eucharist out of the tabernacle, because I never did adoration. We never did any of this. I'm 4 years a priest, I still don't know how to do it, right? So I took the Eucharist out, put it in the monstrance, put it on the coffee table in the living room area out there. And we sat around it and prayed the rosary. All 15 decades on the floor. And then we'd grow and grow. And then finally, at this the fellow who took me to Medjugorje, we would smell the roses coming off the statue in his living room, on and off. And this one night, his whole living room was filled with the scent of roses. And we're kind of laughing about it, not knowing what to make. Can you smell it in the living room? No. Can you smell it in the bathroom? No. In the kitchen? No. When you come back to the living room? Yes. So the guy who took me to Medjugorje was kind of an obnoxious guy. He was a 6'3", 280-pound, obnoxious salesman guy in my face, okay, all the time. So you're talking to going to Medjugorje. So we're standing in his living room, and we're smelling these roses. And his wife was much more pious and quiet and kind of thinking more spiritually. He says, Father, do you think we should be laughing about this? I go, probably not. So I said, well, let's get the Bible. We opened up the Bible. Boom, it opened up to Peter's Discourse on Pentecost. And we were just we were standing in a circle when this happened. We all felt this tingling come over us. And Casey says, do you feel that? I go, yeah. He says, what is it? I go, they're always looking at me for answers. I know it's zip. I go, I don't know. It must be the Holy Spirit, So this when I opened the Bible, and it was Peter's Discourse on Pentecost, and I read through it, and it was Pentecost Sunday. I forgot that it was Pentecost Sunday until he showed me the Bible a couple months ago again, and it said, I wrote it there, Pentecost Sunday, June, blah, blah. Okay, so this teen rosary group is taken off. And so, like I said, we got 25 kids coming, juniors and seniors, sitting on the floor. I said, okay, tonight I'm going to pray over you. Because let me tell you this one quick story before I do the other one. After this experience of the tingling, Casey started a prayer group in the parish like this, a rosary, like more like a Medjugorje rosary. 10 decades Mass, 5 decades in confessions. That's the routine in Medjugorje every night. So he started that at his parish. So after feeling that tingling, he says, after Mass, Father Charlie, I'm still in my blue jeans, I'm still a blue jean priest. He says, Father Charlie says, would you pray over everybody and bless everybody individually after Mass? Well, at that time we had like 400 people coming to this prayer. I'm like, are you kidding me? I would always sneak out the back and go to Burger King. I get done with Mass and I was out because I didn't like talking to the people about all of these things that were happening because I didn't know how to talk about it. Like Casey always said, what is it? I go, I don't know. I out the back door to Burger King. So this time he caught me. He says, Father John, will you pray over, bless everybody? Like the way that I said, I just blessed everybody at the end of Mass, man. Almighty God bless you again, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Go in peace. You know? He says, no, like the Franciscans do. They go like this and bless everybody. And So I said yes, and I stood down there and we come up 2 rows. And this one, you know, like it's a long church. It goes about a half a block down. And I'm going to be here, or something like this. Totally not interested, totally not interested. 6 people into this, I feel this wind wrap around me, like a little tornado. It takes off, and the lady right in front of me, bang, falls over on the floor, and I'm like, now I know what I felt. They all just thought, oh, it's a little lady passed out, we'll just help her in the front pew there, that was fine. Nobody thought anything of it, but I knew what I felt. And my first response in my head was, God, knock this off right now. I said, this is way too charismatic for me, you know? I'm just getting used to the Blessed Mother, never mind the Holy Spirit stuff. I don't know what to do. I said, let me back out the back door to the Burger King. So, but now I'm going like this. Being a little more careful now. So I get done with the whole thing. Probably takes a half an hour. I don't know what it took. But Casey saw it. He was walking down the side aisle, and when he saw that, he went like this. Keeps walking. That was a Monday night. We didn't talk about it all week. He didn't bring it up. I didn't bring it up. And now we're back to his prayer group in his living room with the Rosa Mystica statue that smells like roses sometimes. And after we get done with that rosary senecal, that was a senecal, a blue book. We get done with the rosary. He says to me, Father Charlie, and again, still I'm in my blue jeans. I'm not even blue jeans. I was getting into those balloon pants that were for a while there, okay? He says, Father Charlie, will you bless everybody after the rosary? I'm like, because he knows what happened and I know what happened, but we didn't talk about it. He's setting me up. I go, well, I can't say no, because that's what we priests are supposed to do, is bless people, right? So I said, okay. So I blessed, there were about 25 people in the living room. I blessed them, half of them rested in the Spirit. Okay? I'm like, well, I don't know what this is. I don't know how to define it. I don't know how to talk about it. We need a flyer. I don't know how to do this because God's going to do this with me. What is it? So, okay, so a couple months later, I had the teens. We're doing the rosary. And so one night I thought, well, I'll experiment on the teenagers. You know, there it is. So, okay, stand up, you guys. Guys and girls. I said, now I'm going to pray over you. And you may feel heat, or you may feel tingling, or you may not feel anything. But what it means is the Holy Spirit's touching you in some way that you need to be touched or healed or helped or whatever. I don't have a clue what that is. Somebody else might have a healing gift with the gift of knowledge that knows what's going on. I know people that both. So they're all over okay for me. They'll trust me. I've known them all, their teen years. So I start praying, boom, boom, boom. All 25 of them fall over in the Spirit. 25 teenagers, seniors. I mean, I'm like shocked. Because it wouldn't happen. They'd get giddy or something would happen, So I'm leaning up against the wall, like this, watching. And they're all on the floor. I'm like, about 5 minutes. Finally, one sits up. And they look at the look on my face, They said, Father Charlie, is this okay? I go, I think so. I said, is it peaceful? They said, yeah. I said, well, I learned that in seminary. If it's of God, it'll be peaceful. If it's not of God, it won't be peaceful. And so that's how that all kind of started happening, So just to get kids, you guys, you just get 1 or 2, even just 2 or 3 a day. Just if you like, just learn a rosary, and maybe you don't know how to pray the rosary. I didn't know how to pray the rosary. When I first went to sanctuary, I didn't even know how to pray a rosary. And the priest that was on the pilgrimage, thank God there was other priest leading it. On the last day of the apparition, the last day of the pilgrimage, he would say, let's go to different parts around the church and we'll say our last decades to say goodbye to the Blessed Mother. So we're going around and we'll set a decade on the steps, we'll set a decade by the cross, and now we're standing around the big statue of the Blessed Mother in front of the church, the whole group in a circle. And the priest is across from me on the other side of the statue, and outside of the fence of the circle of the statue, and everybody else. He says to me, we finished the fourth psalm from this. He says, Father Charles, he was British, Father King Robbins, somebody remember this. Father Charles. Oh no, he's going to ask me to lead the decade, and I don't know what the mystery is. This is going to be a very embarrassing moment. And my friends aren't next to me, I don't know. I can't, it's a moment of truth, you know. Would you lead us in the fifth sorrowful mystery? Oh, Christ, what am I going to do with this? So I thought about AA. I thought, only in honesty will things get fixed. These people need to know what they got for their money's worth, which wasn't much in the seminary, okay? So I looked right across at Father Ken and I said, and Father Ken, just what might that be? He said, the crucifixion. I go, the crucifixion, our Father, Amen. So even if we don't know our rosary, you know, and here I was a priest 5 years, for crying out loud, okay? So we pick it up, and then I was mad. When I came back from my first trip, I'm like, where the heck had my priest been? Where's my pastor's been? Where's that? I'm like, well, who to point the finger at? And then I got to thinking about this. This is so big. I can spend my life pointing my finger at things. You know, it's not going to work. Just pick up the rosary and start the renewal. Huh? So that's what we do. We just start picking it up and renewing the church and let Blessed Mother help us. And that's what's happening right now. And it's great. And it can be a lot of fun. It can be difficult at times, but it's also a great joy. And so with that, why don't we all stand and we'll say a small act of contrition, and we'll call it a day. First of all, for the young people, all the young people, anybody in high school, 8th grade through high school, come up front here, and we'll look at the image of the Blessed Mother in the stained glass window. They're going to be so beautiful.
We'll just stand around the throne here of the steps, okay?
All young people, come on. Even if you don't know one another, you'll meet one another. There's a few more back there. Come on. Okay, yeah, just come on. We'll all just look at one another. Yeah, good. And then I'm just going to have you repeat after me. And I'll have you repeat after me, but when you really mean it from your heart, that's when Blessed Mother will take you. And that'll be your consecration. So you can be saying the words now just to practice. Maybe you'll mean them right now. Either way, okay? Okay, just look at this picture of the Queen of Peace. And repeat after me. Virgin of Fatima. Just the kids. My dearly beloved Mother, I who belong to the Marian movement, consecrate myself today in a very special way to your Immaculate Heart. By this solemn act, I offer my whole life to you, my heart, my soul, my body, and especially this time of my youth, in which I am now living. Guide me along the way that Jesus has traced out for us. The way of love, of goodness, and of sanctity. Help me to flee from sin, from evil, and from egoism, and to resist temptations, to violence, to impurity, and to drugs. I promise you to go to confession often, and to receive Jesus into my heart as my spiritual food of life, to observe the commandments of God, to walk along the road of love and of purity, and to recite the Holy Rosary daily. heart in the world. Amen. May Almighty God bless all of you in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you, Father.
For all the young people that are just up here or that belong to the confirmation group and outsiders too, if you want to, we'll meet in like 5 minutes or so in the back chapel here, just for a few minutes. Just